Um, when you have open borders, ultimately it erodes the national sovereignty and autonomy of a country, which is exactly what the global elites want.
I'm Dr. Duke, and this is Constitution Corner. Really pleased to be joined by Luis Miguel, a prolific writer for The New American. Check out all of his resources, all of them linked to Constitution one way or another at thenewamerican.com. Luis, thanks for your time again today.
Oh, no problem. Glad to be here with you, Doc.
Well, this election has exposed a lot of rats, hasn't it? I mean, whatever else happens on Inauguration Day, we have a much clearer picture, don't we, in this country, of who stands with the Constitution and who doesn't. And you wrote a really nice article, a really important article, I think, today, about the Koch brothers. Everybody, when they think of the name Koch brothers, everybody thinks of the right-wing George Soros. Everybody thinks that the Koch brothers are these radical right-wingers, conservatives. And the reality is that all you hear from the Koch brothers lately is left-wing talking points, right? And so the Koch brothers are already lobbying the Biden administration who they backed in the election, who they voted for, who they donated significant amounts of money to the Biden campaign, for open borders. Let's globalize this country. Let's take our borders down. Let's make the country accessible to anybody who wants to come here, because that's going to provide short-term, cheap labor, exploitative cheap labor that corporations revel in. Talk about your article today. Give us the gist of your article.
Right. I mean, absolutely, this is a hugely important issue. For me, it's always been extremely important that we have a clear understanding of who our allies are and who our enemies are. And I think for so long, the Kochs have been identified as being proponents of the political right, although there is a growing awareness now that they're not our friends, that they're in fact part of the globalist cabal. And so as we can see right now, part of one of the biggest issues that the Koch brothers have been advocating in favor of is mass migration and amnesty in particular. Right now what they're pushing is for Republican lawmakers, Republicans in Congress, to team up with the Democrats to get an amnesty bill passed should Joe Biden become the president in January. I mean, Biden himself has already said that he wants an amnesty bill to be passed and signed by him within the first 100 days of his presidency, should he make it. And you have a lot of other maneuverings and machinations going on. Just a few weeks ago, you had many Republicans, including Marco Rubio, meet with some other prominent Democrats like Chuck Schumer in a special meeting with a powerful immigration lobby that include a lot of big GOP mega donors. And so you had another group of mega donors who sent out a letter also calling for amnesty and calling for the support of Biden's proposed DHS head, his proposed DHS chief, who worked under Obama and who, while he was in the Obama administration, was actually called out by Obama's own Inspector General for doing some shady stuff, in essence, selling green cards to the highest bidder. So you have a lot of huge corruption here. What's important to know for Americans all around the country is to understand the importance of the immigration issue. Like you said, it's a matter of globalism, of globalization. When you have open borders, ultimately it erodes the national sovereignty and autonomy of a country, which is exactly what the global elites want. And they want to destroy American sovereignty in order to create first a regional bloc, creating something akin to the European Union, but an American equivalent, a North American Union, is what they've called it in previous attempts to create such an organization. And then from there to merge us with other regional blocs around the world until you end up with a world government. And obviously, of course, we all know that once you get millions upon millions of illegal immigrants legalized and then given citizenship to, well, that's millions of Democrat votes, which Democrats will use to bolster their efforts to further socialism in this country. So it's absolutely important and imperative that all of us who are interested and invested in the future of this country, of the republic as we know it, and as it was founded by the framers, the bright and brilliant men who wrote the Constitution. It's important that we hone in on this migration issue and stand up to these wealthy elites. I mean, at the end of the day, whether you're talking about constitutionally, economically, safety-wise, or politically, all the American people, the vast majority of Americans, are worse off when you have open borders and mass migration and sanctuary policies. The only people, frankly, who benefit from any of this are the elites because of the cheap labor that they get for their corporations and because it helps them to consolidate power, which is ultimately what it's all about. That's why you see people like the Kochs working hand in hand with Soros. These people don't have or care about ideology. It's all about consolidating power in any way they can.
And let's not forget, we had President George W. Bush. He was all for this amnesty. He tried multiple times to push this nonsense through. He wasn't able to get it done. A Republican president. Now the Koch brothers, the so-called Republican Koch brothers, are going to be lobbying the Biden administration. If Biden is the president, I suspect it'll go a lot farther than it went under Bush. Luis, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Don't just know your Constitution, live it. This has been Liberty News Hour. As always, you can go to thenewamerican.com and jbs.org for more information on these topics, as well as more shows.